Derby. When things turn to the sport of kings, there's only one source that we turn to. He's the guy that knows racing inside out. He has bred champions. He's ridden champions. He's campaigned champions. He is a champion, and he is a legend along the backstretch of places like Turfway Park in Belterra. We welcome into the conversation our great guy from the world of horse racing, Jeff Greenhill. Jeff, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it may be. I say good evening because you guys get up at like 4 a.m. in the morning, so this has got to feel like evening to you.
It's a long day, and it's every day.
Do you ever shovel hay? Do you ever do that? Take a pitchfork and just...
Oh, yeah.
You've done that?
That's the way I started, Ken. As a matter of fact, my sentimental pick today in the Derby is D. Wayne Lucas's horse because he gave me my first start as a hot walker. I'm a 38-year-old chemical engineer, and the next thing I know, I'm walking hots for $200 a week. But I'm in the business, buddy.
Well, I've known people that have been called hot walkers, but it's usually not around a track. What does a hot walker do at a barn?
Well, when the horse comes back from the track from exercising, they're called a hot horse, and they usually are. And they get a bath, and then the hot walker walks them for 25 minutes to 30 minutes and cools them out, lets them drink water as they do, and then puts them back in their stall. So that's what a hot walker does.
That was your first job in horse racing? You said you were a chemical engineer, so you were probably making a pretty good coin, and then all of a sudden you followed your passion at I don't know if it was a midlife crisis you had, but I mean, you followed your passion and you left that for $200 a week walking horses around that just got a bath. Let's think about this then, Jeff.
I told somebody, I think I paid taxes, and this was a long time ago. I think I paid taxes on $115,000 my last year as a chemical engineer. My first year on the track, I paid taxes on $7,500. So,
but look at you now, for goodness sakes.
There you go.
Look at you now. All right, let's talk about the field here. And you said is it Justify? Is that who you like today in this race?
Well, I mean, Justify looks like the horse. He's a big horse. He's undefeated at 3.
Yeah.
And his races are so visually impressive. And he's fast early and he's fast late. But he's got to beat a 135-year jinx. Magnum Moon, and they never raced as a 2-year-old, and no horse has won the Derby since Apollo did it 135 years ago that didn't race as a 2-year-old.
Well, let's talk about this because this is called the Curse of Apollo, and just to tee it up, as you mentioned, Apollo ran and won the Derby in 1882. He was a gelding, but he did not race as a 2-year-old. And this is the same thing that, as you just mentioned, 2 horses, in particular, the favorite Justify comes in. In fact, I don't think Justify ran a race before February the 18th, and he hasn't run outside of California. So he's big and he's good looking, and, he dusted the competition in the 3 races he's run in. But that's a real short resume, is it not?
To go along with the Curse of Apollo, I think only 2 horses have ever won the Derby that only had 3 lifetime starts going into it. So, yeah, essentially, this is getting a little bit in the weeds, but essentially all he did was break his maiden, which means he beat a bunch of other horses who had never won a race, and then he won a first-level allowance race, which runs at any track, any day, anywhere, and then he won 1 Greatest Stake race. And there was only really 1 horse in there that was a quality horse, and that was Beau d'Or. So his resume is short, but it's just the way he did it. It's just wire to wire, and just nobody even. What did he beat? That's the question. What did he beat?
Right, he won Santa Anita by 3, but the field was. So what?
Short and weak.
Yeah. So he's out of the 7th chute. He's at 7-2. He's got Mike Smith aboard, who's a really good jockey, and I like Mike Smith. Let me ask you about another horse here before we get into your picks and all that. I'm looking at the horse that's coming out of number 10. My Boy Jack. He's 18-1. Kent DeSormo is up top. I think My Boy Jack is a story you will hear at any track anywhere in the world, I think the horse cost him 20 grand. It was something like that. And it was a claiming race.
Exactly.
And all of a sudden now this horse is in the Kentucky Derby. How did he get here?
Well, he got here he's run, I think he's the most experienced horse in the race, maybe. He's run 8 times or so. But actually, they paid $20,000 for him at Keeneland. As September is the Keeneland yearling sale, and they'll sell about 5,000 horses down there over a week and a half. Mm-hmm. And they went down there and bought this guy for $20,000. At that same sale, Mendelssohn sold for $3 million. Mm-hmm. So they got a little better deal, maybe. I don't know. Mendelssohn may win the Derby. Yeah, $20,000, and now here you are in the Derby, and you've already made $645,000. And his odds are dropping, from what I understand, because he has a running style a lot of people think could win the Derby, my boy Jack.
Yeah, last I saw it was 18-1, but as we get closer to race time, all of these will fall. All right, give me your favorite. Give me the horse that's going to win this. Who's going to win this today?
That's a good question.
Well, yeah, it's a question everybody's asking right now, Jeff. That's why we got you here. We ask good questions. We need a good answer.
But then you let me backpedal a little while before I tell you anything.
No, all right.
It's never in the United States, every year annually, the only time you'll have to handicap 20 young horses that, have never run a mile and a quarter, and they've never seen 19 other horses run with them. This is the hardest handicapping job each year with the 20 horses.
Right.
I would like to say I like Mendelssohn. I like Mendelssohn for several reasons. Number one is that he's a half-brother to 2 real race horses, and he won the UAE Derby, the United Arab Emirates Derby, by 18 lengths. I mean, just did it under wraps.
Yeah.
And he's battling a curse of his own. No horse that has ever won the UAE Derby has finished better than 6th in the Kentucky Derby. And if you remember, the representative from that Derby last year was Thunder Snow, who the last time you saw him, he was bucking down the stretch at Churchill Downs because he started bucking as soon as the gates opened.
Yeah.
But
Mendelssohn right now I got Mendelssohn at 7-2 right now, which is same as Justify.
Yeah, I think this horse. That's a whole lot to ask a horse to come over here from Dubai and win the Derby. But he cost $3 million. He has already won a race in the United States. He won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf.
Yeah.
And he won the AE Derby just so impressively by 18 lengths. So I think that horse has got the credentials. Whether or not he can overcome everything that's being asked of him is a totally different question.
But if you were going to the window right now, it'd be Mendelssohn?
I would have some money on Mendelssohn, but I would be backing myself up.
Jeff, I need a winner. Give me the guy that's going to win. Give me the horse that's going to win the race.
Take Mendelssohn, take Audible, and take Vino Rosa for a long shot and throw him in a trifecta box.
So Vino Rosa is at 12-1 right now. John Velasquez up top. Mendelssohn at 7-2 with Ryan Moore coming out of the 14, and then take Audible, which kind of a surprise, but I mean the odds on him are coming down. He's at 13-2. Javier Castellano in the saddle. Can any of those horses run well in mud? Because it's raining there now, and it's going to rain right through post time.
Justify's already proven he can run on and off track. I mentioned those 300 horses in a trifecta box, but if you want to cash a ticket at the end of the day, make sure you use Justify, maybe across the board, because I think the horse will run a really big race. But I'm just trying to cash a ticket. Might pay something.
No, there you got to get one that's a lock. But I think the way what you just said with Vino Rosa at 12-1. I think that could be a magic ticket there too. It's always great having you on, Jeff. You running anybody today? You got a track today?
Got a horse down running at Indiana Grand tonight around 9:30. That's the way I do the
I like it.
Derby. I run them at 9:30 at night.
I like it. Yeah, because the horses want to watch the Derby too. So, do you? What's the name of the horse? What's he going off at, or don't you know?
He's about 6-1 or 8-1, I think. His name is Deadly Ruler, but this is the first race he's run for me, so I don't know a whole lot about him. But he's been training good. His name's Deadly Ruler, and I think he's in the 7th at Indiana Grand.
All right, we'll talk in a couple of weeks. Always great having you on, Jeff. Thanks.
I enjoyed every time.
Jeff Greenhill. Greenhill Farms. Breeds winners. Knows his stuff. 1249. 249. I'm sorry. Well, it's 1249 somewhere. 249. News Radio 700 WLW.